few slides. I apologize in advance. So I'm going to present the mobile orchard. I'm going to present who we are. This clicker is going to be a little bit too slow. My name's Alex, I run a practice called Atmos. We do all kinds of things, but we primarily love trees. And I'm not kidding, I'm not making it up, we really do. We built a tree last summer, which is why I think we got this project. We built a little raft which goes down the east end. There was a series of them. You could lounge on the grass. It was like a little floating island. Two canoes lashed together, covered in grass. You could sleep your way through the city. We love multifunctional structures like trees. We've designed this thing for New York based on the ergonomics of the human body, a growth structure, multiple series of programs, exhibition space, performance space, gallery. It was designed for New York. It was called the Boweries. It was made of bowers of trees, covered in green stuff up ahead. We love carved spaces made of trees, hopefully. House in Limehouse, made of timber, prefabricated units that all go together that make a bed, a desk, a sort of gorgeous little sculpted space. We love gorgeousness. We love plants everywhere. We love houses that are seeping with plants everywhere that sort of tuck in and dance with the trees, where the libraries are filled with books and the staircases ooze and sort of liquefy around you. All of this, again, using the computer to create little pieces. We love people like you, but all of us getting together. We love expressing people and their movements and their dance and their performance. We do installations that sort of celebrate movements of the body using light or mechanics. We've done things for Cutty-Sark Tube Station. Hasn't happened yet, where we're trying to make the lighting responsive to people, so you illuminate it. We love people getting together like this, having parties, dinner parties. I run this thing called Latitudinal Cuisine with my girlfriend Sinead, where we eat food from all around the world. We start in London on longitude 1, we move 360 degrees, 360 days, 1 degree a day. We eat the world, we eat flowers, view to the future, insects if we need to. This is insect salad, a peace salad, a structural dessert. Do all kinds of weird things, eat around tables, our installations. We telematically connect to people around the world. We designed a thing last year based on the world, which is called Worldscape. It's sat 80 people, it's in East London now. It's made of modules that are 30 by 30 degrees. It's got mountains bursting up out of it, and you sit in the sea with a wet buttock, in the sea trenches. You're illuminated by all of the data of the world, all of the world's cities. And we ran this thing called Global Feast, absolutely nuts for 20 nights non-stop. We did 20 different areas of the world. There's Ed sitting there, right there in front of the Himalayas. We scanned through 20 top cuisines, including English, a bit cheeky, and we had 100 people each night with all kinds of entertainment to match. We love nature and artificial nature, so we're pumping the sun into the Docklands. There's a 300-meter long space, and we mapped all of the capital cities of the world as a tree, actually, funnily enough, and on the top of this tree was the sun path locally, and in each of these trees then displayed what was actually going on in the whole of the rest of the world, so you could watch in real time what the colour of the world was actually doing. You could actually connect to real-time time instead of kind of clocks. We designed this thing for the Olympics, didn't get it, Anish Kapoor got it instead, but we were suggesting that people could all cycle up to the top, look through bubbles. You were surrounded by world data. We were going to broadcast stuff that was also crowdsourced stuff. We were going to connect people across the world and have fake fireworks running across it, allow people to tweet to this thing. Everyone could own a pixel of this. It was all crowdsourced, sort of inspired by Obama's crowd sharing thing. We love data, so I'm so happy to be here in Bloomberg. We did this thing with Frankfurt Deutsche Börse, where we were trying to get their data from there into here, into a prison, tear off the doors, and pump this data into this space here, where we turned each of the cells of the spaces into a cell that was sort of celebrating global transactions with the sort of climate of lightning above you. We did a thing at the Architectural Association where we mapped everyone's movement around the space, so everyone was transformed into a piece of light using all kinds of sensors, including sensors under your buttocks. They'll come back to buttocks later. There's loads of lights here hanging around you, and each one of these represents a person in space. Bloomberg, thank you. Trees for Cities, thank you. I looked at this logo. I hadn't noticed it until I started looking at it last night, and I love this because I hate this. I'm very anti-modernist, so not a massive fan of the outer shell, I'm a big fan of the inner shell, and I love this, that the softening that the city is a thumbprint, it's people, it's so sweet. That tree was planted by a person who so loved that idea of the synergy of people and nature. So, the Mobile Orchard. Such a long introduction, I'm so sorry. Wow. Well, it's pretty bland, trees rock, obviously. So look at these things, they're so crazy, they're just like acid, it's nature on acid. Like it's mad really, what is this doing? Who thought of that? Crazy designer, all of this stuff, couldn't come up with it, so jealous. I'm an architect and I'm just like, who would let me do that? It's mad. the sort of phototropic gorgeousness, look at that, so jealous. And the myths embedded in trees, so kind of central to all of us driven by, whether it's good or bad. The apple tree, malice, bad, so brilliant, you know. All artists agree, and look at how many efforts there have been to make trees all around the world, like people making these sort of great sculptural objects. Well, what we wanted to do was make the tree inhabitable. We wanted people to be able to use this tree in some way. We wanted people to sort of grow into the tree, sort of emerge and merge with it. We wanted them to be able to perform and watching it, sit and nestle into it and do all of this sort of stuff together. And of course, pick apples from it, which is what's going to happen. So we were trying to embrace the body, let it sort of kind of wrap around you like a thing. Do you know this is Newton's tree, by the way? I always thought Newton sat at the bottom of the tree. How could he sit at the bottom of that? It's a stick. So I love this sort of thing where people start climbing over these gorgeous limbs that are like a great celebration of nature, sleeping, you know, sort of us reverting, going back, sinking back into this sort of dream space, but also really enjoying the way that we actually nurture trees and that they have a sort of little ballet with real man-made structures. What we do to them, we torture them into this or this. This is a carpenter's forest to make roof beams for a sort of castle, or these kinds of mad structures, and also the reality that we do tame them, that we sort of turn them into geometry. Every fruit tree is sort of a construction of some sort. So what is it and how are we doing it? So I'll just take you through a little bit of the sort of evolution of it. We were originally thinking that they always compare trees to steel. So we were thinking, well, let's make it out of steel. Let's innovate a structure which is made out of folded steel plate. And we were kind of hoping to do all this sort of flat planar construction. We thought it might be a bit uncomfortable. Britain's always cold, it doesn't feel great. So actually we went for timber, went back to trees, felt too obvious, but actually it feels good now. And so we designed these series of tentacles and trunks which are made of loads of slices of birch plywood, very sustainable. And we created all of these spaces for people to lounge around. It's a sort of invitation for you to come and sort of nestle and do all kinds of things, climb up to the top of it, find your spaces, grab some apples from it. So it's based, to go into a little bit more detail, on things that you find in nature, spiraling trunks, spiraling structures, and this is all based a lot on a guy called Jake Dudley's work, which has been absolutely incredible, very computational, very intelligent, a series of radiating branches all around it. It's incredibly numerical, all of this sort of stuff, so it may not seem like a tree anymore, but I'm really struck by the synergy between data and nature that's happening in this room tonight. There's a continuous bifurcation of each one of these branches as they sort of spread out, they radiate out of each trunk. There's been a sort of great sort of struggle to find out exactly how they find their way in there. We've been sort of creating these sort of rules of nature as we go. That we've been growing a new grain, so we've got a trunk which is split into 12 segments. Each of these segments is then made of these slices of wood, which then create this kind of very eccentric grain that runs down the branches, gets bolted together so you can actually hang off of it. You could walk off of it in parts if you want to. Don't suggest you do, because my public liability bar isn't enough. And there's all kinds of sockets that we have to make a dismantleable tree. So the mobile orchard is completely mad. We have to pull out all the branches, pull out the trunk, detach the trunk base, and make roots that can conform to your buttocks so that you're all happy, kind of thing. And there's a little armchair at the base of one of them. There's a space also that I'm not going to mention in the slides where you can lean back, put your head into a basin and look up through the middle of the tree. We've got this weird grafted look at the bottom of it, a little bit like the Frankenstein neck. We've got to put loads of ballast in the bottom, so we've got this great oozing structure made again of this 4mm slices with bolts and all kinds of industrial stuff. The trunk is made of these sort of segmented pieces that start to look a little bit like bark itself, and there's tension rings running up it like sort of mad slices of wood. All of this generated by completely geometric requirements, the doweling that hold all of the segments together, the socketing into which the branches fit, and LEDs that are running up through it. So we've got these electric veins. Each one of the little slices of wood is then separated, and we then make space for lights to run all the way up it to the crown, so you can actually sit illuminated at the very top of it. And there's all kinds of logic about the way that we bolt all of these little branch pieces together. Out of these branches emerge little metal splices, and each one of these little metal splices then holds London leaves. We analysed leaves for a long time, all of the 10 dominant leaf types of London, the maple there, and what we realised is actually the London boroughs fit perfectly together if you want to laser cut stuff, and that's the blossom. The city of London itself is like the crown, the seed that made all of this happen. Here's just a suggestion of the sort of order that is required for all of this. This is what it's made of. It's a little bit like my nightmare I had when I was a kid, where I was told to count all the grains of sand on the beach. It's like endless pieces. It's like a huge jigsaw puzzle. It's really quite fabulous. So poor Nicholas Alexander are all there trying to get this out ready and waiting for you. Here's the base of it here. These very luscious sort of slices all down the trunk base. The roots are kind of waiting for you to sit on. Here's the trunk that's just emerging. some of the steps onto which you sit, they're kind of reaching out, their little hands right in front of you. And it's right now in Paternoster Square, we have a little preview. These branches are reaching out towards all of the surrounding monuments, which if you look, you'll notice are all crowned by vegetation. They're all covered by plants. Look at it. It's as if they're all really want to be plants. And thanks to all of these guys doing all these plants, the volunteers who are geniuses have all helped us make that happen. This is what it actually looks like. You've got a step winding your way up it, so each of the branches takes you up musically up to the top. These legs bearing here. There's all kinds of strange things. You think of fertility when you think of trees occasionally. Here we're running through slices through the trunk right through to the very ends of it. And I really have got to thank, these slides are going to go too quickly, but loads and loads of people, all of you for being here and eventually ignoring meeting you, but all of the venues for hosting it. So it's at Paternoster Square, it'll be in Devonshire Square. The worshipful company of fruiters for kind of helping guide the project a little bit and give us all kinds of thoughts and help us understand how it works. You Garden for giving us these trees which are in Paternoster Square, greening the space. There's even lone trees as well, so pretty much. The New Spitalfields Market Trader Association, there's 500 free apples every day, so augmenting the digital with the analog. Go and get fit and eat well. Eightfold, Sinead for doing the website and for bearing with me and not killing me. Can't believe we are still live. Eric for bringing the lighting. We've collaborated with them before. They've been absolutely brilliant. They helped us integrate the LEDs, and they brought on board Stuart Knox from Architectural Effects, who are Lead Linear and Viber, who also provide little spots. So there's like glowing fruit at the end of each of these limbs. And that's the LEDs slicing into it. DHH, so there's Derek, and Derek has helped us before on this table here, and he's been incredibly generous in supporting our projects and helping make things happen. James Lemon from Blue for engineering it, with details I didn't believe in, but now I know work. Nicholas Alexander for making it work. Atmos is not me, it's all of these genius people who are all dotted around here that have single-handedly made it all work. From Jeg, who's kind of created this whole new nature of scripting, this unbelievable intelligence at work, who's worked non-stop, not a single day off he's made, and also all of these ladies too. There's two guys, and all the rest of it is ladies. It's really bizarre. And then they also, of course, have to end the City of London Festival for actually making this all happen. Again, ladies, and I noticed this shot here as we were all looking at St. Paul's Cathedral on our way to Paternoster Square. And we're looking at this tree and we're looking at this building, which is it that we're sort of dreaming of, kind of thing. If you want to know more about it, it's mobileorchard.info. If you want to know more about what we do, at atmosstudio.com. Thanks so much.